Have you two met each other before?
Yeah, we've met quite a lot of times.
We've
done a lot of in fact, we were on your show last series.
My show last series, that's right. Now, how's the junior tennis scheme that we were speaking about last year? And that was a project that you were sort of...
That's right, we were just about to get into a whole new system last year. And so last year, for instance, our little team went out to... we introduced tennis to about 9,000 young kids in Britain.
Wonderful.
And we'll be introducing, again, tennis to at least that number of people this year. And we have found a couple of very talented people, a young girl from way up in Newcastle, who at the age of 11 last May had never picked up a racket before in her life.
Really?
And last December, we invited her to come down to my tournament.
Oh, yeah?
And she came and did a little exhibition, and she's hitting slices and top spins just after 7 months.
See, a natural.
Absolutely. And one little boy who's now 5. So last December he was 4.5, and there he was hitting tennis balls with me in front of 7,000 people, not a nerve in his body.
That's great. Do you play tennis at all, Lisa?
I don't play any sport whatsoever. I'm a really lazy person in that sense.
You're playing a lot of tennis yourself at the moment?
Yeah, you know, I love playing.
Yeah, and of course you have that pro celebrity tennis thing every year, Christmas time.
Yeah, well, you played it. You played it a few years ago.
Yes, I did. Yes. But I don't really want to talk about it. No,
there's no shame. Listen, when you have an excellent opponent, there is no shame in losing 6-love, 6-love. I mean, Barbara Cartland is no slouch.
Yeah, but she had more barley water than me. Do you see the music business now as being very different today to when you first started?
Oh, yeah. It's completely different. I mean, because when I first started, we recorded in mono. And in fact, my first record was released in mono, and in fact, it was released on 78 revs per minute mono, and it said also available in stereo 45. But it was generally you'd released in mono. So for me, I've seen it all change so drastically, but there's no comparison. It's wonderful now.
Would you have preferred, Lisa, musically to have gone back further to when Cliff started?
I don't know. I think it's quite easy now, studio-wise.
It's never easy, but it's easier.
Yeah, I mean, everything's made. Everything's made so that you can do things a lot quicker than you could do before.
Yeah. Well, would you like? I've had this up my sleeve. Would you like to see a clip of Cliff on a show from 1959? Oh boy. All right, okay, let's see, you see. Obviously, you were influenced by the style of Elvis Presley.
Oh, yes.
Must have been. And
completely, actually.
Yeah, completely. But you've lasted so long in the pop world because you found a style of your own.
Well, strangely enough, it began round about that time when that clip was made, because Jack Good, who directed that show, said to me, if you're going to be on the show, you've got to dump your guitar and cut off the sideburns. He said, you do, unfortunately, have an Elvis image. I mean, none of us really look like Elvis. I mean, Elvis was really one-off and special. But there was an image that you could have. And I obviously had that. So he started it off by making me get rid of the guitar, and that's why all this was going on, you know. Because I didn't know what to do, and he just told me what to do. And, of course, really what changed things, I suppose, was moving into the slightly more gentle area, because rock and roll when it first came in was wild and ecstatic, and then it kind of leveled off and started to go downhill a little. So making rock and roll records wasn't, you know, up-tempo stuff wasn't necessarily making it. It wasn't until I got into things like Living Doll, It's All in the Game, the more ballad, melodic stuff, that I really began to concrete my career in, and of course it led me into finding my own thing.
Exactly. Now your first hit record, Cliff, was in 1958, and you're still going strong 35 years later. Can you see yourself, Lisa, going strong 35 years from now?
It's very difficult to imagine.
It's difficult to imagine.
She can sing, of course she'll be out around.
I think so too.
It's true, isn't it? People, you can actually sing and you write well, so...
Well, I suppose you only sort of think of it in terms of you only look ahead sort of 3 or 4 years at a time, so you could never imagine...
Well, one thing's for sure, I certainly won't be interviewing the both of you in 35 years' time. I'm glad you agree with that. And I bet Cliff will be reviving one of his old records from his early career. Got myself a crying, talking, sleeping, living, walking frame. Now, Lisa, what are your first memories of Cliff?
I think really Summer Holiday.
Oh, yeah, the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I loved that film.
It was a good film.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was a great film.
Yeah.
It was good fun to do. I made a lot of new friends, and we spent weeks in Greece.
But it had a good feel to that. It had a lovely... You know,
it was really
It
nice.
really worked. It really
well,
worked.
because every now and then, if you can get a really good team going, well, you know, even with a band, if you've got a really good team with you, it always works. Always, or it never fails.
No. Tell me, Lisa, what are your first memories of me as growing up as a child? If you have any. Qualify that. As a child growing up, when did you first sort of notice me, should we say?
Well, it's got to be the Generation Game.
Oh, the Generation Game? How old were you then?
Oh.
5?
I must have been 5 or 6.
5 or 6. I think we found a little bit more about Lisa, but thank you, Lisa Stansfield.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Being with us. And now, while we've got you in the first place, Adventures, now, your new album, which is called...
Called The Album.
Oh, that's a good idea. The album called The Album. Right, good. Now, you're going to sing a track from that.
Yes, I am.
Which we can't wait to hear.
Okay.
So if you just pop over there. Right, now, here, from his latest album, The Album, Cliff Richard with Human Work of Art.